Well, now, if you're 40 years, kindly do this to retire in 10 years' time. Oh, by the way, if you're watching this and you're already 40 or past 40 or almost 40, and perhaps if you're watching me and you're very young at your 20s, still a video that you can actually consume and be of help to you. Now that you're in your 40s, honestly speaking, gone are the days when we can say, hey, you still have a lot of time ahead of you. I'm not saying that you should press that panic button that the time is not on your side, but the reality is this. I gave you a certain formula that you're supposed to be following at all the time, okay? I told you from 20 to 30s, do a lot of things. Try as many things as you can. I also told you from 30s all the way to 40s, learn from somebody, okay? You learn from somebody. And when you hit 40 all the way to 50, do what you understand. Do what you understand. Are we together? Because what you're going to do, you only have to, assuming that you're going to retire in 60 or at 60, depends anyway. Let's say you want to retire at 50, you have at most 20 years to go legally if you are employed somewhere. That means that you have 20 years to make or break your life. It means that you have to take care of two people, okay? There is you who is watching this video, and of course there is a family if you have any. Probably you have kids in high school or whatever the case it is, okay? Now, if you are at your 40s, what exactly do you do in 10 years? And you can be able to retire comfortably. First of all, let us define retirement, because people have a negative thought about, or people don't understand what does the term retirement mean. Retirement means, if you didn't know, retirement means, does not mean stop working. Retirement, in most cases, it means optional in terms of working. Optional, okay? Where you have to work, that means that, when it is optional, it means that it can either work or don't work. Either way, you are safeguarded, meaning that you have achieved what we call the so-called financial freedom. Financial freedom is not when you never think about money, it's when you don't worry about money. Those are two different things. Now, how do you retire in 10 years from where you are right now? If you are at 40, simply I'm talking, how do you retire by the time you clock 40? First, it starts by you defining what is retirement to you. Retirement to me is not retirement to you. For me, I may term retirement as having that freedom, being optional. I can work or not. Either way, I will eat, I will drink, I will fuel my car, I will live a life, I will be able to explore that what God created me for, I'll be able to pursue the dreams and visions and what have you. That when you can be able to do that without having any. By the way, some of you love singing, some of you love traveling, but you can't travel. Why can't you travel? You can't travel because you are working, and that work is what is feeding you. And apparently, perhaps that money that you're getting is from paycheck to paycheck, meaning that you have to work for you to eat. Therefore, the time to travel, enjoy, and explore or adventure, it is not there. So define retirement. In retirement, in this regard, let us define it as working is optional to you. You can work if you wish to, and you can still don't work if you don't want to. Now, what does that mean to you? Now, that is just a statement in English. Now, let's now quantify that statement. What does it mean? Having that option. Right now, if I may ask you, how much do you make? You make 50K per month. If you make 50K, you make 100K, whichever the amount of money you make. For example, if today I tell you from today henceforth, the rest of your life, if you make 100K, if I can show you how you can be making 100K the rest of your life without having any stress, will you be comfortable? Will you term that one as a retirement, or will you term that one as financial freedom? Whatever you define as your financial freedom, identify that. Somebody may say, hey, you know what, Joseph? I would like in 10 years time from now when I'm at 40, if I can be able to be getting 100K comfortably without me worrying, I'll be able to fuel my car, I'll pay my bills, I will have a very decent exit in the active world. Let's say, for example, you realize that you need, say, 80K. That is what let's even work with 100K. Let's say your 100K is the money that you need for you to retire comfortably. Now, this is what you do. This is where you are. This is the starting point. This is the starting point. And this is the end point. This is 10 years, okay? From now, this is where you're starting. And you've figured out and you've realized that if you have 100K coming in comfortably without you working, that is for what? Financial freedom. Then what you do, you come back to present day. the present day, how much do you have by your side? But before you even go to that, you ask yourself, how much do I need to invest for me to get a return of 100K and be able to get it so without me being involved? In short, I'm talking about passive income. So if you realize, for example, I told you one thing, guys, a million gives you a return of 10K per month. So therefore, if you need 100K in a month, you need not less than 10 million in an investment. Woo, that may sound big to some people, but don't worry, never press that panic button. Anything, it is possible. Right now, say you are earning that 60K per month, 50, 40, whichever the amount of money it is. Let's work with 60K. Now, what happens? You need 10 mic or 10 million in that period of 10 years from today. Assuming that this salary will never be increased, you forever, or rather in the next 10 years, there will no salary increment. You're still going to be earning that amount of money continuously. Then this money, let's say you are saving around 20K per month. So you ask yourself, if I was to take this 20K a month, pick up vehicle. Why? A vehicle, when I mean a vehicle, I mean vehicle in terms of an investment. That what will take you to the destination. Then once you pick that vehicle, you can pick two vehicles actually, because it's always good to diversify. Someone may decide to venture into two things. One, stocks. Two, may venture into mutual funds. And you can actually separate those two things. Maybe say at a ratio of 70, 30%. The 70% of whatever you save, which is 20,000, goes towards the mutual funds. Of course, pick that what is stable, reliable, and actually low risk and assures you capital preservation. You throw your 70% there. The 30%, you pick that vehicle, say, of stocks, okay? Because of its nature, it's a little bit of moderate to high risk. So you put your 30% there. Then you feed your cow, or you propagate, or rather what you say, you fatten your cow in that period of 10 years for you to raise that amount of money, which is equivalent to giving you 100K in a period of 1 month. And then that money you can now term it as what? As your retirement money, or that what we say, it is that cash that we call it a financial freedom. Now, we are at your 40. Are we together? You want to retire at 50, that is in 10 years time. So you have to find a specific route that you can pick in the next 10 years. Pick a vehicle that can actually propagate yourself all the way to that particular destination. But hear me out. Here you need to sacrifice a lot of things. Assuming that you didn't do anything, say from the time you started working up to now. Let's say you started working at 25. For the last 15 years, you've not done anything. Okay? Or maybe let's say you started working at 30. Then for the last 10 years, you've not done anything. It was about sustainables, eating, drinking, whatever. Those things that does not grow you, it just sustains your life. So what you do is that you actually tighten the belt. That means that you have to make sure that you have to sacrifice. The sacrifice here, it is needed. And you have to zoom in into your expenses. When you zoom in into your expenses, you ask yourself, how much do I earn? What goes for my black tax? What goes for food? What goes for shelter? That is for the rent. What goes for other debts that if I'm having any debt? Another thing that what happens with people at their 40s, you tend to accumulate the assets that you find in one way or the other. They are not generating any cash flow because now you're pressing buttons of panics. Well, number one, you viewing your friends and you realize that they are building their own home. Some actually own their own home. Somebody got a raise of job somewhere. Someone is a CEO. Someone is a manager. It's usually called the midlife crisis. And that particular moment, you can even develop anxiety. We can actually graduate all the way to depression, which can actually result to other things. Just simplify it. Do not complicate. You have 10 years to go. You are at your 40. You want X amount of money. How much goes for your sustainables? We call them the fixed expenses. Are we together? So that once you cater for the fixed expenses, are we together? And then you take a certain fraction to pay yourself, which means that you are taking care of the tomorrow. I told you guys, investing is buying off a day that you don't have to work. So now when you do that, then you've eaten, you've done all the sustainables, and then you've dedicated a certain amount of money towards an investment for the sake of that period of time. Then after that, then the money that is left, you can actually spend and enjoy your life. This is what we call the guilt-free expenses or guilt-free expenditure. This is the money that you spend it guilt-free. You don't feel any guilt. You know, there is nothing horrifying that you're seated somewhere sipping, some drinks with your friends, and or maybe you're somewhere enjoying if you don't drink anyway, just like I do. So you're seated somewhere and then you'll be like, you know what, I'm having fun, but I don't even know how my life would be in 10 years. And you're a man, or you're the breadwinner of the family. You don't even know how exactly the thing's gonna be. But the moment you know the things are going good, in terms of the fixed expenses are catered for, in terms of your future investments and what have you, you're having that particular plan to move forward, then you'll never have any problem. So you'll have a very decent life. This is what I always tell you. Please, if you want to retire in 10 years' time, then you have to be perceived, be somebody who is looking forward in retiring in 10 years. That means that you really have to tighten your belt where your money goes. You have to really do. This is what I say. You have to run your things microscopically. If it needs be, I told people that you're supposed to run your family, sort of a house like a business, like a corporate. I don't mean with suits and ties and dictatorship. No, I mean with the knowing what goes where. You see, the way usually a company knows every expense. When audit comes, they have to know how much these pens cost. How much do you buy, say, in a year, blah blah, and all those kind of things. That is exactly what you're supposed to do in your life, in your family, so that at least you can be able to not only safeguard your future, but also other people who matters a lot to you, their future. So that is exactly how you do it. So if you're at 40, you can go ahead and do so in a period of 10 years, and you can do something about it. If I may recap exactly what I've said, it's simple. You have 10 years to go. Pick that what retirement means to you. Quantify that amount of money that you need for you to retire at that particular period of time. Somebody may be like, you know what, 50K is enough for me, 100K is enough for me, a million, 2 million, 10, whichever the capacity, whichever that you feel. And of course, please, I always tell people, of course, don't limit your wish, your will, and all those kind of things. But sometimes it's good when you be intentional. I was about to say be logical anyway, and sometimes back I said for you to be successful, you have to have some elements of delusion. But the point is, you have to understand whatever you are aiming for, it makes sense. For example, if someone tells me, Joseph, I earn 10,000 in a month and I would like to get Y amount of money, be like, okay, fine. Honestly speaking, if we go by the current mathematics, you may not be able to reach there. But if we can change things in between, then we can be able to reach there. So be logical, be intentional, sacrifice discipline, be consistency, then you can be able to reach that particular target. But it all starts with you defining what retirement means to you. Then you move with it. This is Good Joseph as always. Stay put, leave a comment on the comment section. See you in the next time.